As a child, I was always filled with an unquenchable thirst for adventure and a fierce eagerness to embrace every moment. The world was a grand playground, and with each new day, I sought to explore it. My mother and father were often my guides, leading me to the nearby park where laughter and joy danced in the air like the leaves in the gentle breeze. This small park, less than a mile from our home, was a sanctuary of freedom, filled with sprawling green grass, towering trees, and the laughter of children, a perfect canvas for my youthful imagination. One sunny day, bubbling with energy, I turned to my parents and exclaimed, "Why don't we run to the park?" They exchanged glances, smiles playing at the corners of their mouths, yet they shook their heads in unison. "No, my dear," they replied gently. "You'll tire yourself out. Walking at a nice pace is better. It's just a pretty short distance." But I want to run. My heart ached with the desire to break free from the constraints of adult logic. I could see the park in the distance, beckoning me like a siren's song, and I wanted to propel myself towards it with gleeful abandon. My parents explained that running was for special occasions, not a casual stroll to a familiar place. They had done it countless times and had become accustomed to the pace of adulthood, but all I could see was the shimmering promise of freedom provided by my legs, wanting to race ahead, release that pent-up energy among the sunlit trees and cheerful sounds of other children. "Why don't you run?" I pressed, determined to convince them. Running is fun, and it feels so good to stretch my legs. The notion of how we do things emerged as they shared their experiences, the lessons learned over the years. "You'll understand when you grow older," my mother mused. "Maybe when you're our age, you'll prefer the quiet of a walk." But at that moment, why had become a catalyst for a deeper inquiry. That day, I resolved to race ahead another time, even if it meant going alone. I returned to that park many times in the subsequent months, and the joy it brought me was exhilarating. I would skip and leap, forgetting the slow pace deemed appropriate by the adults in my life. One afternoon, as the golden sun dipped toward the horizon, I found myself in front of the park once again, the waylit sky painting pastels across the horizon. This time, I felt emboldened. I kicked off my shoes, relished the soft grass on my bare feet, and sprinted forward, racing against an invisible wind. On that fateful day, I managed to reach the park in under 10 minutes. There, standing at the entrance, I took a moment to breathe, gleaming with pride. An exhilarating victory reminding me of my childhood spirit. Years rolled on, and I transitioned from that little joyful spirit to the various complexities of growing up. I encountered moments of doubt and times when I was told to act like an adult. "Don't run," they would say. "Walk steadily, follow the path others have taken." As I settled into adulthood, my life evolved into a series of calculated risks, tame choices, and a blend of satisfactory but uninspired days. Yet deep within me, beneath the layers of expectation, a whisper remained, a distant echo of that young child who craved freedom. Years passed when, during a mundane day at work, I happened upon that memory of my park adventures. I remember rekindling that spark, longing for the raw joy of life itself. After a long while, one evening I found myself standing on my balcony, staring at the street below. There was something inherently liberating about standing at a precipice, those first few moments dancing between the mundane and the unknown. With a deep breath, I decided then and there to reclaim the exhilarating essence of life, reminiscent of that kid in the park. The next day, I laced up my running shoes and took my first run down the familiar streets of my neighborhood. Each stride felt like breaking free from invisible chains. I let go of self-doubt and hesitation and allowed rhythm and breath to become my melody. As days turned into weeks, running transformed into reflection. It became meditation on feet. I discovered not only the joy of movement, but also the beauty of broken silence as I engaged with my thoughts. Soon, the distance safely stretched beyond the familiar park, embracing trails and hills I had long forgotten. I sought untouched paths, new experiences, and friends who, like me, craved growth. Running opened new avenues for me to entrepreneurially explore passions I had hidden in the depths of my heart. Perhaps what began with a simple sprint to the park had transformed into a journey of self-discovery that transcended the physical realm. Each evening, I realized that the true lesson from all this was not merely to run faster, but to allow myself the permission to dream again. I learned that adulthood does not dictate dull patterns. Rather, it is we who define how vibrant or mundane our existence becomes. Through my experience, I grew to understand the significance of boldly embracing our paths, whether to run or walk, to soar or crawl, and to recognize that each step is our choice to make. In the end, the most potent motivation lay not in the end goal but in the trail of life itself, dancing whimsically with joy, allowing spontaneity to guide us. Reflecting upon this journey, I see how a simple moment, a youthful desire to run, sparked a creative revolution in my life. Somewhere along the path, I remembered who I truly was, and it ignited a chain reaction of discovery and joy. And so, my journey continues as I share this story with others, hoping to immortalize that spirit of recklessness and adventure. To all of you listening, never forget, life is short, and the rhythm of your heart races to play the melody only you can express. Embrace each step, run freely toward your dreams, and revel in the experience of being utterly alive. Always ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? Follow that question relentlessly, for therein lies your greatest joy. Celebrate your unique journey and remember that it is indeed your life to navigate. Embrace every moment and stay curious, for that is where the essence of wisdom and fulfillment lies.